Tesla's been tweaking and offering a few more things and even making some things worse in an effort to lower the cost of manufacturing their vehicles while simultaneously increase the desirability. It's kind of a weird fulcrum point that they're trying to find. So in today's video, I'll be detailing some of the little things over the past couple weeks that Tesla's been trying out. For one, this one I'm particularly excited about. Luna Silver has found its way onto the Model S and X. Technically, I guess it's a new color by name, but we all remember those original like LA Silver style Model S and X's back in the early days, and I love those colors personally. I really wish they would have never gotten rid of them, but I'm just so glad to see them back. Although they do cost quite a bit, $2,500, which definitely puts it up there with Ultra Red, but it's probably a safe call on Tesla's end because it is a new color, so if there's anybody who's on the fence about splurging, they're probably willing to pay the extra $2,500 when it's a vehicle this expensive. And I honestly thought that Tesla would do more for the Model S and X as of lately. There were a bunch of rumors going around that they were going to add ambient lighting and a front bumper camera to the Model S and X, but they never did. My bad for reporting that one prematurely. I trusted Tesla Scope to be accurate, and I guess maybe they just got some bad info. But the other thing they're tweaking with the Model S and X to make it not as great as it has been in the past is they're removing the ability to play Steam games on it. And I saw a lot of confusion out there about this, so I just wanted to set the record straight. The Steam support on Model S and X was specifically a dedicated hardware feature, okay? Not only did they have to update the software of the car to be able to run Steam games, but they also needed a designated graphics card in every single Model S and X. It was a very similar GPU to the one found in the PlayStation 5, not the 4, but the newest generation PlayStation. And we don't know what Tesla's bulk price of those GPU clusters were, but I imagine they weren't all too cheap. My personal prediction would be somewhere around $400 or $500 per car designated simply to this one feature. If everything I've read from Green the Only is accurate, this GPU that is similar to the one found in the PlayStation specifically served one purpose in the Model S and X. It was not used to render visualizations. It was not used for any kind of animation in the navigation software. No, this GPU basically just sat there in the cars waiting to be activated for if you opened Steam. This is why we did not find Steam support in the Foundation Series Cybertrucks, because they did not have this GPU. Same thing as to why we didn't find Steam support coming to the Model 3 and Y all these years later. But now, of course, Tesla has started sending out notices for new Model S and X deliveries. They are taking out the ability to play Steam games. And while some people were a little bit bummed by that, I personally think it's probably by far the right call. For one, a very, very small percentage of people were likely taking advantage of this feature. For two, it was likely not one of those features that was actually pushing people over the edge to justify buying a Model S and X. Like, oh, the Model 3 is great, but can I play Cyberpunk on it? Yeah, I just didn't see that being the case most of the time, and Tesla likely has the data on this. They kind of explained at Investor Day. From data they've collected in the past, they can see exactly what features and what uses in the car are utilized the most. In fact, I expect at their Robotaxi unveil, they're probably going to dive deeper into the stats of their own fleet data, suggesting on average how many occupants are in every vehicle or every Tesla on the road. Spoiler alert, it's probably around 1.5 or 1.6, which is why the Robotaxi is possibly going to be a two-seater if the rumors are accurate. Likewise, in the past, they used to have, sunroofs on their vehicles that would open up, but the data showed that pretty much people never activated or opened up their sunroof, so they took them out. That's why Tesla still doesn't have them. Same with passenger lumbar support. They used to include that. They looked at the data, said hardly anybody ever uses this, so they took it out to save cost. And those features are arguably more interesting, more exciting than a GPU in the car capable of playing Steam games, simply because it takes a lot of time to keep these games up to date. It involves downloading lots of data to the car, and most people, when they're supercharging their car, don't have all that much time or usually that great bandwidth to launch Steam, launch the game, and continue where their saved progress was. So it doesn't age very well if we go back and look at the Model S delivery event and see all the times Elon bragged about having a PlayStation console in the car. It was cool, and it was a nice, fun hype feature when it was available, but as times are getting more tough and they're struggling to find new buyers, Tesla is looking at, okay, what parts of the vehicle are people not utilizing or taking advantage of? Let's cut back on those to secure better margins, and maybe that will translate into lower prices in the future, and also let's spice up the color options a little bit. So I know a lot of people were upset by the removal of Steam support, but personally Personally, I think it's totally justified. It was cool for a while, and in some ways, this actually might slightly increase your resale value if you have an older Model S and X, because they're going to continue running Steam, the cars that have the GPUs to handle it. So now there's something that, you know, if you paid top dollar for your 2022 Model S or X, well, congrats. You have something that the new Model S and X's don't have, including ultrasonic sensors and your Steam library support. So fair game, in my opinion. But as far as the Model Y goes, they finally added something that we were asking for from the Giga Shanghai factory, black variants of the Gemini wheels. These look fantastic, in my opinion. I've never really been a fan of lighter rims on really any vehicle, and that's why I was personally very grateful that the most aerodynamic and efficient wheels for the Model 3 that I own were the 18-inch Aero wheels, which happen to be dark. I think they look far, far better that way, and now, for an extra $500, you can make the most efficient Model Y tires that darker shade as well. Personally, if I was in the market, I would absolutely spend the extra $500 just to get those darker rims. Tesla probably will secure a little bit of a thicker margin thanks to those, and let's just hope one day they end up scrapping the silver Geminis, because I don't need those anymore. Nobody wants those. You might, but you're wrong, and that's okay. As far as the financing side of things go, though, it wasn't too long after the first few weeks of Tesla offering 0.99% APR interest rates on just the Model Y just for the month of May that they took away that option for the 72-month loan program. Now you have to shrink it down to 60 or 48 months in order to access that low interest rate. So on one side, that kind of sucks because that was probably the cheapest way for people to finance a Model Y, but on the positive side, the fact that they changed it just a mere couple of weeks after launching it means that it's probably working. It probably means a lot of people are signing up to finance their Model Ys now because they realize that the monthly rate is so low, but Tesla's likely taking the blunt of a lot of that revenue loss because banks are definitely not offering auto interest rates that low. And to see Tesla go, okay, hold on a second, we're gonna need that money back sooner than we actually thought, likely means it's effective at the very least, but also indicates that the margins might not be as good as Tesla wants. That's why they're fluctuating the deal. But keep in mind, if you were interested in that particular financing option, it's gonna end at the end of the month, so just be advised. Interest rates are probably gonna go back up for the Model Y in the month of June, unless this ended up working out way better than Tesla thought. They might end up extending it. We've seen them do that kind of stuff in the past before, but what do you guys think of Tesla's current lineup? I'm really hoping they bring Luna Silver down to the Model 3 as well. I think that would look fantastic on a refreshed performance Model 3. We already got Quicksilver on the US-made Model Y, which some people have said doesn't look as good as the Quicksilver overseas. I'm willing to acknowledge they're probably right, but at least in person, I still thought it looked great, even if it doesn't have the fancier multi-coat process that Giga Berlin offers. We didn't have that on the earlier Model 3s and S's and X's that were silver, and I still thought those looked great. So just bring those colors back, Tesla. Thank you for offering the darker rim options, and also thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. It seriously helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos, so thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.